Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, before we get started, guys, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but we do have a really awesome episode today, guys, because Cathie Woods lays out a wild Bitcoin price prediction. You guys are definitely going to want to see this. And we got some Robert Kennedy Jr. Bitcoin news. You guys are going to want to see what RFK Jr. just said about Bitcoin. So let's go ahead. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's go over to CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin's down a little bit. I bought the dip. You know, I always like to tell y'all when I buy the dip, as always, guys, not financial advice. We could go lower from here. If we go lower, I buy more. But I jumped back in some Bitcoin, and guys, I could not resist Polygon Matic. Pulled a little dip. Truly love buying this coin under $1. I think I'm going to look at some of these videos in the future and be like, dude, I can't believe I didn't buy more. A Polygon Matic under $1. So I bought the dip. XRP, guys, XRP is up 5%. We got some XRP news you guys are going to want to see toward the end of the episode. And also this, guys, some good news. CNBC, Jim Cramer doesn't see a recession on the horizon, says recent conjecture just doesn't hold up under close scrutiny. Well, guys, there you have it. Jim Cramer says there's going to be no recession. I guess there's nothing else to see here, right? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's get to Cathie Woods. She made a bold Bitcoin price prediction. I'm going to play this quick clip, and I'm going to let you guys hear it from Cathie Woods herself. Check it out.
We went to a bear base and bull case. So our bull case is, I think it's 1.5 million. The base case.
So, guys, that's 1.5 million per coin. That's her bull case, and that's the timeline is, I believe, 2030 is when she's thinking that that's going to go down. So keep listening.
Is 600, I think it's 625,000, something like that. Now, one reason we've actually internally, our confidence has increased towards the bull case is because of what happened during the regional bank crisis in March. What happened? Bitcoin, so as regional banks are going bankrupt and the stocks are imploding across the board for the KRE, Bitcoin rallied from 19,000 to 30,000. Why did that happen? That was a flight to safety. That is the insurance policy that we are talking about, that we believe everyone will want at the end of the day. Insurance policy against two things: confiscation of wealth, either directly or by inflation, or in the deflation world, what is it a hedge against? Right. It's a hedge against counterparty risk. We won't have an 0809 with Bitcoin. Everything is decentralized and transparent. No obfuscation.
Wow. So a lot to break down. I'm sure you guys are seeing now. Cathie Woods starting to sound a lot like me. You know, what she's saying is because of Bitcoin, we'll be protected from what happened in 08 and 09. Remember, guys, that's why Bitcoin was created, because of the financial crisis in 08, 09. She also talks how it's a protection of confiscation of wealth, not just confiscation directly from a federal government, but confiscation through inflation. Because remember, inflation is actually a form of theft. It's a form of it's a tax on your future earnings. So Cathie Woods is saying everything we've said on this channel, guys. I'm not going to get too much into price predictions. Will Bitcoin get to $1 million per coin? Yeah, I think so one day. How does she know by 2030? And even though her base case is still sounding pretty good at 600,000 per coin, in her bear case, it was still like almost 300,000 per coin. So crazy numbers, crazy valuations, but you guys see it. You guys see the mainstream adoption. You guys see, just we're watching this weird 180, where it was like, it wasn't that long ago, these people were fighting us, and now it's like they've been orange pilled. And the next one to be orange pilled would be Robert Kennedy Jr., who's running for president as a Democrat. Check out what old RFK Jr. said. You guys aren't going to believe this. Am I in like a bizarro world that all of this is happening this fast, and that all this is happening like right before the halvening? So RFK Jr. announces bold plan to back dollar with Bitcoin and end Bitcoin taxes. Speaking at a Heal the Divide PAC event, Democrat presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. outlines specific Bitcoin-focused policies. that he would act as president, including gradually backing the U.S. dollar with Bitcoin and making Bitcoin profits exempt from capital gain taxes. Whoa. So I know what a lot of you are thinking, Kevin, Robert Kennedy Jr. is not going to be the president. Perhaps you're right. I mean, I don't think if the Democrats didn't allow Bernie Sanders to get in, which I think, in Bernie Sanders' run, I think Bernie Sanders was a lot more popular in the last election than Robert Kennedy Jr. is. So if they didn't let Bernie get it, they're not going to let they're definitely not going to let Robert Kennedy Jr. do it, especially some of his stances, his anti-war stances, and his anti-medical tyranny stances. So what I could foresee happening is Robert Kennedy Jr. having a place in perhaps a Trump administration, perhaps a DeSantis administration, perhaps a different administration. He could have maybe a VP role. I don't know. I don't know. But it's good that, we have candidates bringing the Bitcoin issue to the forefront, because it's going to make these other candidates draw a line. It's going to make them have a stance. They can't just ignore it anymore, because they've been doing a lot of ignoring it. They've been using the mainstream media to put out the fake news, and they just kind of stay back and don't say anything, because the candidates that are against it, they're not going to want to publicly come out against it, because it's going to be campaign suicide, right? Don't you guys agree with that? I mean, so are we going to see a lot of flip-floppers in the next, coming up to 2024 election? Yeah, you're going to see a lot of candidates. You're going to see a lot of, these BlackRocks, these Warren Buffetts that said they hated Bitcoin. Oh, it's going to be the coolest, greatest thing in the world. It's just, it's happening right now. It's wild. So this is a little clip of Robert Kennedy Jr. from it. So check out what he said, guys.
We've given a lot of thought to and are going to be part of our package. Like Singapore, Germany, Switzerland, Puerto Rico, and Portugal, the Kennedy administration will exempt the conversion of Bitcoin to the US dollar from capital gains taxes. And there are downsides to this policy that we have considered carefully, including, and I want to be explicit about this, that this kind of policy will do something that is inconsistent with many of the other policy objectives of my administration, which will give a windfall to some of the investors or the early investors in Bitcoin, many of you whom have a great deal of money and don't need a windfall. But the benefits of this policy, I think, are so great to our country that they dwarf the disadvantages of that outcome. The benefits include facilitating innovation and spurring investment, ensuring citizen privacy, incentivizing ventures to grow their business and tech jobs in the United States rather than in Singapore, Switzerland, Germany, and Portugal. And
guys, Robert Kennedy talks about protecting your privacy. Remember, we are at a crossroads right now. We're at a crossroads with a tyrannical Fed that wants to push a central bank digital currency, essentially being the end of freedom as we know it, if this is enacted, especially enacted by a tyrannical government. So it doesn't matter if you I love Trump, or I love Biden. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. You're both pointing the finger at the other party, saying that the other party is tyrannical. So why would you want to give either party the ability to control your money? This is absolute madness. And guys, this is what Bitcoin protects. Now, let's go to what Ron DeSantis said, the governor of Florida. Ron DeSantis promises to ban CBDCs if elected president. The U.S. presidential candidate in March signed a bill as Florida's governor to prohibit the use of CBDCs within his state. Check out this clip that Ron DeSantis did with Tucker Carlson.
How concerned are you that in the wake of whatever the next economic disruption that we're going to face is, and everyone kind of feels like maybe there's something coming, that will wind up with digital currency issued by the central bank?
Well, if I am the president, on day one, we will nix central bank digital currency. Done, dead, not happening in this country.
So you guys heard it. day one, if elected president, no central bank digital currency. If you're a little bit confused, well, Kevin, you like crypto, you should like a central bank digital currency. Let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and let's think that it wasn't that long ago the same people pushing the central bank digital currency told you that crypto was beanie babies, told you that the technology was terrible, told you that it was useless, that it wasn't going to be mass adopted. They told you all this. And then they realized, wait, hold on. We can have more control into the lives of Americans. We can, I mean, if they can control your money, they control you. The ability to freeze your bank account. You guys seen what happened to the Canadian truckers. They were able to freeze their bank accounts. Whether you agree with what the Canadian truckers were protesting or not, the government should not have the ability to freeze your bank account because you post something that disagrees with the current stance, because you post something that goes against the current administration. This cannot be allowed. So this technology, while a CBDC will have, it'll make everything easier. It'll make doing your taxes and paying bills easier. You know, just think of Venmo as a primitive version of a CBDC. But they can do a lot of bad stuff with it, like set an expiration date, meaning that if you don't spend your money, you lose it. Think of the way food stamps work, where you can only spend it on certain things. Do you want a federal government? Again, put yourself in the shoes of the other party. You Republicans hate the Democrats, and you Democrats hate the Republicans. They're both tyrants and dictators, according to you. Do you want to give that party the ability to control your money? To say, hey, Republicans, you can't buy guns. You can't buy bullets. Oh, there's a new virus outbreak. There's a pandemic. Oh, you're in New York. You can't leave your 15-minute corridor. That's the kind of stuff they'll be able to do. They'll be able to track and trace everything you do. So if you're paying your grass guy with cash, you're paying your barber with cash, all of that's done. They'll be able to track, trace, and control how you spend your money. We cannot allow this. So any politicians that are advocating for the central bank digital currencies, we have to go against. Because remember, it was a conspiracy theory a couple months ago. Now, mainstream news, all central banks are working on their version of the central bank digital currency. So, anyway, next story, guys. Hong Kong would not go to crypto without China's approval. So, yeah, guys, so China's got their version of a central bank digital currency. China has a social credit score. If you act up and you're deemed a threat by the government, you can't get on a train. You can't get insurance. You can't participate in society. So, we're seeing China now do a 180 to advocate for crypto because of the economic benefits, but at the same time, they're using a social credit system in a central bank digital currency to basically rule over their populace, their citizens, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know why nobody cares? Because it's not happening to you. It's not happening here. But guess what? Klaus Schwab and the WEF says that China is the model for the world. China's views on surveillance, China's views on COVID, China's, policies on controlling their populace. That's the model for the rest of the world. So you might want to start caring. U.S. Congressman calls out Gary Gensler, stop attacking cryptocurrencies. U.S. Congressman Richie Torres wrote a letter to SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, asking the SEC to reconsider its approach to regulating cryptocurrencies, calling the attack stupid and a crusade. Well, thank you, Congressman Torres. So, yeah, but they're not going to stop. The SEC, the government, the relentless attack on crypto, we're just got to keep moving. We just got to keep moving forward. I told you I got some XRP news. Check it out. XRP jumps 10% as Ripple invests in AI and metaverse firms. So, we're seeing a big shift with XRP. We're seeing a lot of banks around the world implementing the technology, perhaps to create their central bank digital currency. We're seeing the SEC take a big L with the judge's ruling the other day. So what is the future of XRP? What are they going to do with this technology? What is XRP, a metaverse? I believe they're MasterCard's invested in AI. Guys, it's getting crazy. If you're in this, this is one of those moments when you got to read these articles and you got to see all this happening in real time and be like, man, you're a real big part of history. You're part of this fourth industrial revolution. You're part of this this transition into a digital economy. And look, guys, the technology is neither good nor bad. It's all about who is controlling this technology. So let's not look at, crypto or Bitcoin or any of this as bad. It's who is controlling the technology, who is putting the railings in place at what is allowed and what is not allowed, because we're losing all privacy, guys. I mean, you guys, your cell phones are basically spying on you. Your smart TVs, your Alexa, everything you're saying is being recorded. You're constantly being watched. You got Ring doorbells in every neighborhood. Guys, we're giving away our privacy for what? For convenience? We can't do this any longer. Something has to stop, and that right there is what Robert Kennedy was talking about. This is the Bitcoin standard. This is what Bitcoin stands for. All right, guys. So why BlackRock? This from Barron's. Why BlackRock and other fund companies are pushing deeper into crypto? Is Kevin? You said all these they hate crypto. Why are they all buying it now? I'm gonna tell you why. It's a significant revenue opportunity for players in the space, says Matt Hogan, Chief Investment Officer at crypto fund Bitwise. And BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, is planting a flag in the ground, saying it believes Bitcoin will matter for the next 5 or 10 years. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is also talking of Bitcoin, saying it could revolutionize finance and that he wants to make it cheaper for investors through an ETF. So if they hate Bitcoin and they hate crypto, why are they buying it all? Well, these big funds, I know this is going to be a shocker to you, these big Wall Street type funds, they care about one thing: alpha, return, profit. That's what they care about. And they look at this as another way that they can make profit. I mean, they're kind of blown away by how awesome the technology is and the applications it could be used for. They just see this as a P&L sheet. That's what they see it as. And they see it as a way to make fees off of you. I mean, BlackRock sees this, wow, a Bitcoin ETF, and all you suckers are going to go buy it. They love it. They absolutely love it. So, all right, last story, guys. Russia advances with digital ruble pilot amid economic tensions. I mean, I'm sure you guys are hearing everything going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation. The West, has banished Russia from the SWIFT payment network. We're put all kind of economic sanctions on Russia. And what is happening? Russia is saying, okay, well, we got to find a workaround these sanctions because we're not complying. So they're working on their digital ruble. And word I'm hearing, it's going to be backed by gold, backed by Bitcoin. Completely incredible. So what this should say to you is, it doesn't matter what the United States plan is. Do you guys see? Is the shackles starting to be lifted off of your mind as seeing how big this is? So it doesn't matter what Gary Gensler does. It doesn't matter what Biden does. This technology is worldwide. So this technology is being adopted. It's just a matter, does the United States want to be an economic powerhouse, an economic player, and embrace this technology? Or do we want to push it all offshore and make our adversaries, Russia and China, economic superpowers? This is what we need to think about. Anyway, guys, thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. Man, drop me a 100 emoji in a comment, guys, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.